reports the university is hoping to build out the 8th level, which was constructed in 2017 as a shell space for future growth. They estimate the project would cost between $39 million and $41 million and would be funded by university hospital building usage funds. In April, the Regents approved a project to expand the Level 7 NICU and bridge. The new project would allow an addition of 28 postpartum rooms with support spaces, family waiting spaces, and provider workrooms. The Regents will be considering the request at their meeting next Wednesday. A transient has been arrested after a reportedly unprovoked assault on an elderly male at the Catholic Worker House on Lower Muscatine Road. According to the police report, 36-year-old Miguel Garcia was observed starting the altercation for no apparent reason Sunday with a 79-year-old man who was sitting down for lunch. Garcia reportedly struck the man in the face, slapped him, and punched him in the chest before pushing him to the ground. The victim had to be transported to a hospital as he was coughing up blood. Garcia was located a short time later and allegedly told the police officer he assaulted the man because, quote, he needed it. He also reportedly claimed the man was saying, quote, some weird S, and again admitted he, quote, got him. Garcia was charged with assault causing bodily injury, a serious misdemeanor punishable by a jail sentence of up to 1 year if convicted. University of Iowa Campus Safety will test the Hawk Alert emergency notification system at about noon on Friday, as required by federal law. Hawk Alerts are used to notify campus when there is an immediate threat to health and safety to the campus community. The alerts can be delivered via text message, phone call, email, and desktop notification based on settings. Hawk Alert updates are posted to the University of Iowa's emergency website, emergency.uiowa.edu. You can refer to that page during active Hawk Alerts or campus emergencies for the most updated information. In sports, the University of Iowa women's basketball team released the details of the 2023-24 schedule on Thursday. For the second straight season, Iowa will open its Big Ten slate with identical opponents and locations in December. The Hawkeyes will travel to Wisconsin on December 10th and host Minnesota December 30th. The Hawkeyes play back-to-back conference road games twice during the regular season. The start and end of Iowa's conference slate is balanced with 3 away and home contests. The Hawkeyes will play 5 weekend home contests against Big Ten competition, 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Saturday games at Carver Hawkeye Arena come against Minnesota December 30th, Indiana January 13th, and Nebraska January 27th. Iowa's scheduled to be home the final 2 Sundays of the regular season, February 25th and March 3rd. And the Hawkeyes will play on Super Bowl Sunday for the second straight season, an 8th time in 9 years. Iowa plays at Nebraska Sunday, February 11th. The Big Ten tournament will be held at Target Center in Minneapolis, March 6th through the 10th. For more information, go to the women's basketball section at HawkeyeSports.com. Iowa head football coach Kirk Ferentz is heading back to the state where he was raised this weekend as his Hawkeyes take on Penn State Saturday night. Tuesday, Ferentz joked about his limited skills preventing him from being recruited by the Nittany Lions back in the day.
I carry a chip on my shoulder because they didn't recruit me. And I always joke about that. The obvious reason was they were trying to win. They were trying to win then, trying to win now. And they didn't recruit guys that ran 5 flat 40s at linebacker that weighed 200 pounds. So I've forgiven them. You know, it's 50 years later. I'm over that, I think.
Saturday's game kicks off at 6:40 and can be seen on CBS. The Hawkeye softball team hosts 3 exhibition games this weekend. Friday afternoon at 4, they host Indian Hills Community College. Saturday at 1, it's Illinois State. And Sunday at 2, it's Kirkwood. All of those games will be held at Pearl Field, and admission is free. We've got high school football for you Friday night on KCJJ as Clear Creek Amana welcomes Oskaloosa at about 7:30. Our full schedule of games can be found on the KCJJ app and at 1630, kcjj.com, under high school sports. With KCJJ News, I'm Tommy Lang.
KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful. I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. For tonight, a mostly cloudy sky with isolated showers and storms and lows in the low 60s. Foggy areas as well. Scattered rain for tomorrow, some rumbles of thunder too, more cloudiness and highs in the upper 70s. Into Saturday, it looks like a mix of sun and clouds, a stray storm around, high near 80 degrees, showers likely Sunday and near 70. That's KCJJ weather. It's 69 degrees right now.
You're listening to Molly Suter on the mighty 1630 KCJJ.
Hello, yes, you are. You're also listening to Cindy.
If the microphone works.
And it does!
We're
Yay!
professionals. We know what
We
we're
are
doing.
professionals.
All the buttons need to be down,
Okay.
pushed in.
It's good to know. It's good to know. Last
Now that
week
we
we
know.
had a bit of a mishap, if in case you missed it.
I just don't understand why there's a big board, and it seems like you guys only use, like, this one little area here.
You know, I don't know. I
This
don't know
one
about
little
that.
knob.
This one is more straightforward. Like, we use all of these knobs. Like, they're clearly labeled.
On your side.
Each have a use. Yeah, on my side. Well, this is
I guess
yours.
this one's
Okay,
labeled.
Yours is more of a production board. This is like strictly for broadcasting. But like we record commercials in there.
Could you take this, though, and DJ with it?
I don't know. I do not know.
It looks like you could pretend like you're really doing something, like the DJs do.
You could. I guess I could. I could also do that on like the knobs that I'm not using.
I'm not saying DJs don't do anything, but they're hype men. And
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
That's what you pay them.
Hype people.
Yeah. I saw one clip, and I don't know if it was a joke or not, but it was like kind of behind a DJ booth of somebody doing their DJ thing where they're like looking like they're moving
Something. Yeah.
records or whatever they do. And there was like nothing
spinning
there.
records.
There was nothing there. They were like pretending. But I'm like, well, they're more to like hype things up.
I mean, so I saw the Chainsmokers in concert in like 2017, I think it was. And I mean, they're DJs, and they had this big DJ table on the stage, and like one of them like sings and like goes around and like interacts with the audience like usual artists do, but one of them just stayed like behind the table and just like did his thing, the DJ table, whatever. It was just so interesting to see, because it's like, if that other guy wasn't there, like you go to a concert and you just see a guy playing with a table.
Well, I mean, you don't watch Vanderpump Rules.
I don't.
But one of the guys is a DJ James Kennedy, and he is on tour right now. And I actually looked it up because he's coming to Chicago, which I could get free lodging with my friend. And my daughter watches the show too, and so I'm like, hey, DJ James Kennedy, I looked up the tickets. Guess how much they are? Like $120.
Is that a lot?
I mean, for me and her too, because she's not the type of person that would be like in the pit, like dancing. Like both of us are kind of like, we're just go and watch and kind of feel the vibe. And we would be in the back trying to find a chair to sit down.
Right.
I mean, I would. I don't know if she would, but it would be worth it if I liked being in a large crowd with loud music, and just to say that I saw the DJ James Kennedy, which no one except for Vanderpump people would know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I'm excited for you, but
we did not get the tickets.
I've been in the pit for both Kelly Clarkson when she was here for Nubo Evolve. Yeah, that was the what was it? The festival in Cedar Rapids, and then also for Maren Morris in Des Moines, and both were really enjoyable experiences. However, since they are two of my favorite artists like ever. That's what made it worth it. If it was just for, like, somebody I only kind of liked, I would have hated it. Because I'm so short. Yeah, and so I'm behind all these people I can barely see. And I have to stand up. I can't even, like, sit down because it was standing remotely. There are no chairs in the pit.
I I just don't go to concerts that have pits. But I do like being close to the stage. So, like, if it's like Colin Hay, for example, I knew he was coming. I really wanted to see him. I managed to get in right at the right time, and it was a smaller, the Englert. This is years ago. And I managed to get, like, the second row or third row back. So I had really good tickets.
Oh, nice.
But, you know, like, it was a bunch of old people like me.
I would like to see Colin Hay.
He was so good. He's so good. Like, he's just a great musician anyway, but he also did a lot of talking to the audience. So it was almost like a stand-up and music at the same time.
Oh, I like it when people do that.
Yeah.
When I saw Matchbox 20 earlier in the summer with my parents, Matt Nathanson was their opener, and he was really funny. Like, in between songs, he was cracking jokes, trying to engage the audience, and I've said this before, maybe not on this show, but definitely just to people I know. I hate it when people are so, like, rude to the openers. Like, they don't even pay attention, and, like, you're just like, these people are here to put on a show for you. Like, at least just, if you're not listening, at least clap when they're done with their songs. And so many people just don't, and I just think it's so rude. So I try to be a really good audience member.
I went to Bare Naked Ladies. I don't know if you know them, but
I do know them.
They played in Cedar Rapids, I think it was, a couple years ago, and Colin Hay opened. It was a weird open too, because they're all kind of famous, but Bare Naked Ladies was definitely the most famous out of all of them. And Violent Femmes were there too. Ooh, and it was like, I don't remember who went first, but like that was great because they were all kind of popular. Violent Femmes is probably kind of. I was way into them in high school, and I saw a concert that I hated them afterwards because they were like an hour and a half late. And it was like, I was in high school. My sister went with me. She was in like a year and a half younger than me. So we were all like under 18, and we had curfews. So it's like we couldn't, and it was before phones, like, hey mom, you know, they're running late. Can we stay out a little, you know, like, so I was livid.
Yeah, I would be too.
And I'm like, I hate them, but they're pretty good.
And Justin Bieber did that like around 10 years ago in Des Moines. It was his concert was on a school night, and he was like an hour and a half late doing God knows what.
I mean, I don't know that I've ever been to another concert where they were that late.
So when I was in college, they got this performer, and I think it was Biz Markie, and I didn't go to this show just because it was so late, and I've always been a grandma. I always love being in bed by 10, you know, like, and so I'm like, he's starting at 10:30? No.
Too late.
No, that's too late for me. And so, but apparently he was an hour and a half late, and I'm just like, oh, so instead of starting at 10 or whenever he started at like 11:30. I'm like, just for that one hit that people know, just a friend.
Girl,
you got what I need. Yeah.
I mean, I always saw Cupcake too, and they weren't. I don't think she was late. I mean, it was late for me because I was an adult.
She was at Gabe's, right?
She was at Gabe's, yeah.
Gabe's
has not changed, by the way.
I wish I had gone to that.
In 30 years, it has not changed.
Yeah, that's what my mom keeps saying too. Whenever I go to Gabe's for like a dance party or whatever, she's like, I used to party at Gabe's.
I don't know that I've ever, like, my daughter goes to Gabe's downstairs all the time. I don't know that I've ever really hung out in the main part of the bar. I always went upstairs.
I don't love the vibe at Gabe's downstairs, and I don't think their drinks are all that good. So
I was not that particular back.
So I only go up there if there's like I went to the Taylor Swift dance party at Gabe's
that would be fun.
earlier this year. But other than that, I don't love the vibe of Gabe's. I think it's partially because it hasn't changed.
It's just like the bathrooms, like it's all the same.
like the same graffiti there was in the 70s.
I mean, it was comforting, but it was also like, whoa, like this is weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm like way too old for this.
Honestly, I thought that even when I was not. I was like in my early mid-20s being there, and I'm like, I don't think I need to be here. I was kind of too old for young people stuff, even when I was a young person.
I was always into the band guys, so.
Oh, so you had to be there.
I didn't have to, but if I wanted to see my crush of the week, they were usually playing somewhere at Gabe's or some other dive.
I know a few people in bands too, or at least I did, that played gigs at Gabe's, and I never went because it starts at like 10. So I'm like, no.
And if I did date a guy who was in a band, and so we'd have to get there early to get things set up. And
was he cute?
Yeah, he was okay. He's still local. He still plays. I won't mention his name.
Oh yeah, we don't.
But he plays blues.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
oh, we're gonna get some tea here. What's the tea, Cindy?
No, this is like high school, first year of college.
So it was a while ago.
So it was a long, yes. Thank you for.
Sorry.
It was a quarter of a century or more.
So I got off work early yesterday because I was covering midday, and the City High homecoming parade was last night, and Mom always walks in the homecoming parades representing 1976, and this year I walked as 2011, and there were so many kids who who were shouting at me, like junior high kids, and they're like, I was born that year, and I'm like, don't tell me that. But one kid was like, was yelling to my mom, like, oh, I want to see your year, like turn over your like banner, and so when the kids saw 76, they're like, oh, and then Mom's like, yeah, I'm old, and then kept walking.
Well, you haven't quite hit this age yet, but a couple years ago I was chatting with a guy, friendly, because we were friends on Facebook and stuff, but I think, we kind of discussed maybe dating.
Oh.
He was born in 89.
Oh, and that's
when I
year you
graduated from high school. And I'm like, that might be too, he's in his 30s or whatever, but.
Yeah, 89, that's like in my wheelhouse for dating.
But it was still like, I was like, yeah, I don't.
Would you really date someone that young?
I don't. What do you talk? I talk to you.
We're not dating though.
But we're not dating.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
We're friends. You can talk to friends about pretty much anything. But if there's any romantic tension,
when you're stuck in a house with somebody, you want to make sure that they have the same references that you do.
Right, it's different. It's different.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I could. And I wouldn't want to anyway, because they are still baby age and I'm beyond that. You know what I mean?
What am I to you? If 1989 is young.
No, they would want babies at some point. I think about the whole, you could procreate. And...
not necessarily. If he was talking to you and thinking about dating you, obviously he's not thinking about having babies with you.
I know, but I've seen enough relationships where they're like, oh, we don't want kids. And then, one of them changes their mind 5 years into it. And it's too late. I'm not having a baby when I'm 55 years old. There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
I don't think you can do that naturally anyway.
I could totally do it if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do it. Actually, I don't think I physically could at this point. But
you might. I think there are a few rare cases of people. I'm
pretty sure I'm in menopause at this point. So,
right.
But then when you get out of it, can't you have babies again? It doesn't last forever.
Getting out of menopause? No, yeah. I think menopause means you're done.
Oh, I thought that was like a 10-year thing that happens.
Mom started menopause 15 years ago, and she's still dealing with some of the symptoms. So I think that's.
I haven't had very many.
That's a prolonged process. Maybe I shouldn't blast my mom's business like that. Sorry.
HIPAA. We're not nurses. We don't care.
Pretend you didn't hear.
Well, I'm talking about mine, but I haven't had any symptoms. I'm just not having the kind of thing that you have when you know you're fertile.
Okay.
Not to get into details, but.
What, this show not getting into details?
I'm not having my monthlies, is what
nice.
I'm getting at, but.
Jealous.
That could change. Who knows?
Oh, someone texted me.
I didn't even check the chat room.
Oh, Steve just texted me. He said Cindy should gently turn the camera so she can be seen.
Gently?
Gently.
Is this gentle enough?
I don't know.
Nope, wrong way.
Oh, yeah, because you're not visible in the shot yet.
Hi, Steve.
I wanted to be clear that I did not touch the camera. It was there. It was in that position when I got to it.
Well, I think
did not
people
touch
really love seeing the back of my head. I learned a trick on TikTok. Because I like wearing these little, what are they called? Banana clips or something?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
banana
Oh,
clip.
the claw clips.
The claw clips.
Yeah.
You take your hair and section it off with ponytails, and then you flip it underneath so that the hair goes up.
yeah.
And then you clip it, and it makes a nice little fall.
I've seen so many like cute hair tutorials on TikTok, but I just can't do it.
I can't either.
I think it's part of my learning disability, but like anything involving motor skills like that, like I can't do without like a lot of practice.
There's a lot of them with like multiple rubber bands, and every time I pull my hair back into a rubber band, there's bumps. Like when I tighten it, like a bump forms, and I can't.
Yeah,
I have to redo it like 9 million times.
No, mine do that too, and so I actually have stopped caring at this point. I'm just like, I'll have a bumpy ponytail.
I find a style that works and keeps it out of my face, and I'm just happy that my hair finally grew out long enough to like put back.
Steve says it's much better with a pleased emoji.
Oh, but now I can see my hair sticking out right here from the clip.
It's a cute style.
Is it
I
annoying
like
or is it?
No, I like it.
I obviously don't look at the back of my head.
I don't either.
So y'all get like an exclusive view because I don't even see this view.
Now, speaking of hair growth, whenever I cut my hair, I love it, but then immediately I'm like, I wish it was long again. I can never win.
I mean, I did the whole practically shave my head when I turned 50.
Yeah, I
Like
remember.
I had the bottom part of it that like they definitely. I mean,
the
she got the
fade.
razor out, yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked it because I'd never had my hair that short ever since I
think
was like 7 years old.
I think that's a rite of passage for
Yeah.
like a lot of women. Like my mom, she was probably in her early 40s when she got this haircut, but like the really like short 2000s mom haircut. Mm-hmm. Like that's. And
Where she flipped it out on the sides. Did she do that? I love that look.
No,
I
not
love that.
quite
I could
that.
never quite do that with
No,
her.
it was short. It was really, really short. Like when I was a kid, and like whenever I think of her, like I always think of that hairstyle, and she has that now too.
Mm-hmm.
But like, she's had long hair.
I just like long hair better because I can always put it back. Always sort of in a scrunchie,
Right.
or ponytail, whatever, and it's like
But also, like when you style it, it's cuter too. Like if you curl your hair, it's cuter long. If you straighten your hair, it's cuter long. Like you can do cute braids or whatever when it's long and
for
not
like
when it's
5
short.
minutes, and then it bothers the crap out of me when it's. I do not like it on my face. Like I don't like it down.
If I thought I could pull it off, I'd like shave my head like Halsey. She can pull
Love
it off.
to do that
I can't.
because then you don't have to even worry about doing your hair.
I know. You would just
Like,
have to wash your head.
Because if it's short, you still got to do your hair.
I mean, you don't have to do anything.
Well, you got to do something, or otherwise it's all over the place. Like when it's short, you still got to fix it.
I mean, I usually just some days I don't even brush it. I just leave it.
I'm getting my hair cut on Saturday, but just because I need to get it shaped up because I am wearing it up all the time and I'm not doing anything with it.
Right.
So. But I'm okay with that too.
Excuse me.
All right, so Elvis is in the chat room.
Yes, he is.
He knows somebody from the Bent Scepters.
I don't know what that is. Oh, is that
I've
a band?
heard of that song, or that I've heard of that band. I just
I've
don't know what
not.
they sing.
The Blues? Is your
Bent
boyfriend in
Scepters
it?
sounds. I could tell you who it
Is
is.
he
After.
like,
I'm sure you've heard of him.
Oh my gosh, I want to know now.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how much he plays anymore, but. Oh, and he's playing fantasy. Oh, ska band.
Iowa City ska band. Oh,
A ska
All right.
band. I'm just kidding.
I don't know if I like ska.
Ska is like it's like Jamaican, right? Like
Yeah, it's kind of like a reggae beat.
like dancey, tight, like bounce to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'm glad that your friend has fun in it. Elvis. I'm
Good for
glad
you.
that you know someone in a ska band. That's cool. Actually, don't know what music my friends made in the bands. When I say friends, I mean more like acquaintances.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of them was hip hop, and the other one might have been something like ska, but I'm not sure. I don't even know if they're in the bands anymore, honestly, because this was a few years ago.
You don't keep up.
No, as I said, they were acquaintances and not friends. Like, they would have probably appreciated if I showed up to their shows, kind of acquaintance, but not like you're a bad friend if you don't go, you know?
The shows at Gabe's. I think every local band has played at Gabe's.
Oh, yeah. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Those were fun times. I do.
My parents have played at Gabe's.
Really? I don't think I saw them.
It was, must have been back in the
I don't remember the
80s.
names. I don't remember. I don't even remember the names of the bands that we saw. I don't know. There's a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
I was drunk most of the times. But it was fun.
Well,
Back when I would go to bands and dance my little butt off.
that sounds fun.
Kick the shoes off. Your feet would be completely black by the time you got home.
I can do that sober.
Yeah, I did it sober a few times, but not very many. But it was fun.
I enjoy dancing. I just don't enjoy being out so late.
With a bunch of other people running into you and getting all sweaty and
Like,
gross.
if parties started at 5, I'd go to every single one.
We should have a...
If concerts started at 5 p.m., I would go.
We should have a party where we have dinner at 4,
Yes.
the party at 5,
Yes.
dancing 5:30 to like 8:30.
Yeah. And then we
9
all
o'clock
go
we're home.
Yeah, and then we all take showers and we're in bed reading by 10.
That does sound like a great day, actually.
Yes.
Why does everything have to be so late?
I know, it's so late. I'm like... I love sleeping, okay? I
do
love
too.
getting like 9 hours of sleep. I am not the same person if I get like less than 7.
I have, for the last couple of years, have always worked like 7 days a week, right?
Oh, that sucks.
I know. And it's like become my personality. Well,
That's
I finally
not a good
I know it's
personality.
not a very good personality, but it was just the way I am. So I finally decided to ask for Saturdays off.
Oh yeah, I saw that Facebook status.
And this last Saturday, I really didn't have much going on. Like I didn't have to do anything except for make breakfast in the morning. And then I went back to bed, went back to sleep for a couple of hours.
You know, I woke up this morning. I have 2 cats, and they love getting me up at 6 in the morning to feed them. And so I do. And then they usually come back to bed with me. And later in the morning, I woke up with Callie, like, pressed to my face. She was pressed to my face, and so I had, like, drooled in her fur while I was asleep. I'm just like, Callie, please.
Moose has gotten better. He'll, like, let me sleep in unless he's got some pressing.
My
like,
cats will not.
But I remember when we first moved into this place, like, he was up at, like, 6 a.m., like I had to, like, if he was licking my face, that means I had to get up but he's gotten a little bit better.
That's
I mean,
good.
I usually take him out at 6:30 when I wake up, but like on the weekends, when I can sleep in, he'll be a little more gracious. Let me sleep till 9 sometimes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, like, the cats want me to get up at, like, 6:30. But then when I try to get up at, like, 8:30, they're like, no. And they force me to stay in bed. And cuddle.
Why don't you get like an automatic feeder? You can time it.
Well, when I say feed, there's just food already there.
Oh.
My cat Callie has like a little kitty eating disorder, and she wants you to pet her while she eats, and she will not leave you alone until you do. So that's what I mean when I mean get me up to feed her. She wants me to pet her while she eats, and she will not leave me alone until I do it.
Does the cat have the problem, or do you have the problem?
The cat.
That you've been encouraging this all
I have not been encouraging it.
I'm just saying.
I have closed the door so many times, but she cries and scratches at my door.
I know,
And
but
so
how
I
did you
don't get
find
any
out
peace.
that was what calmed her down? Like, how did you find...
Because she would herd us
Oh.
to the food.
Ah.
And yes, you're right. Maybe I was wrong to reward that type of behavior, but now I can't stop.
I know. I mean, I say that as a person who accidentally trained my dog to like get socks from the like pile of laundry.
Oh, that seems like a good training thing, though. Not
like
maladaptive like mine.
But I accidentally, because I would give him a treat so he'd let go of it, so I could take it without him ripping it.
Oh,
and now, because I really still do not know how dogs work.
Yeah, you've conditioned him to.
I mean, it's okay. What's really funny is I noticed there's a certain like chime, like warning noise on the phone that when Katie was younger, I set my where's my phone at, or where's my, you know, and I had it set so that when she would come home, it would set off an alarm. Like it would give me a notification that she came home. And Moose heard it.
Oh.
Like it played on like a TV show I was watching, and he's like, starts barking, goes through the front door. I'm like, okay. That was conditioning.
Because he knows Katie's home.
She wasn't. Poor dog.
Oh.
It was off the TV.
Oh, poor boy.
Dogs are cute. Humans too, I guess. They do the same thing, but we get conditioned.
Dogs are cuter.
Yeah, true. Very true.
All right. Well, Elvis has asked us if we watched the Star Trek show yet.
It's only been a week.
And I said I'm not going to. Because
I
I'm
will.
not.
I will if I can figure out which one is the most recent one. Because there's like 3 or 4 of them out.
It's Star Trek New Worlds.
Who's the captain of it, though?
I don't know.
Is it the...
I don't know.
I have not seen it yet.
Well, then we can't talk about it,
I've
Elvis.
been really busy. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City came out last week.
I've been busy cleaning my house and helping Amy move. She just moved in with her boyfriend.
Oh, are you by yourself now?
With the cats.
Okay.
The cats are with me until they move with Amy.
Can't you move in with her and the boyfriend?
No. I am not.
He didn't want to move in with you guys.
No. Well, he has a kid.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Interesting.
My house is not kid-friendly.
Oh.
It's not kid-friendly. It's barely adult-friendly.
I take it you like him. The boyfriend. Okay, good.
Yeah.
If not, you can tell me. You can tell me it's a secret between friends.
No, I do like him.
Good.
However, she did kind of spring it on me. Because she'd be like, oh, I want to move in with him in January. And then I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then she's like, actually, how would you feel about, like, October or November instead? And then she's like, actually, we just looked at a place and we signed a lease and I'm leaving.
So what are you going to do with her room?
Well, nothing.
You could turn it into the cat room.
No, the cats are living with me for now. They're going with Amy.
Oh.
Like, once they get all settled.
Because that's what I would be thinking is, like, well, what can I do with that space now? Are you going to get another roommate, or?
No.
Okay. You could, we could do our afternoon dance party in that room.
Oh, my God. No, I don't want a bunch of strangers
string
in my
up
house.
the lights, those, like, lights that change colors.
I don't want...
With the remote.
I mean, Amy did have lights like those, but I think she took them.
Okay. I've got all sorts of ideas. Yoga room.
I'm just going to close it off, honestly.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're not going to turn it into a craft room where you just collect crafts and, like,
No.
organize craft supplies?
We're getting rid of a lot of things that, like, we just don't need, and I'm in, like, clear out mode. I want to be a minimalist person. I wish I was a minimalist person so bad. But I just have so much clutter.
I know, but you can't make yourself be a minimalist.
Why not? Why can't I change who I am fundamentally?
Well, maybe you don't have the same mental disorders as I do, but
I think it's been established that I do.
Okay, well, you might need some therapy before you decide to become a minimalist.
Oh, why?
Because if you've got the clutter to begin with,
that's just because...
That's like showing just naturally you're not a minimalist.
That's true. But I wish I was.
I know, but you can't push against
Who I am?
I don't think you can.
Oh,
You
wow.
can get less stuff, though. You definitely...
I can get rid of some stuff.
And you can organize the stuff that... I just fear that you'll just end up getting other stuff.
Moving into a 2-bedroom, like, full house... not 2-bedroom, 2-floor, like, full house was maybe a mistake just because of the sheer amount of space we can put stuff in.
You can fill it.
And that's not good. We don't need every space to be filled.
Try living in we had a 3-bedroom house. The house itself wasn't huge, but I mean, it was a good amount of space. But it had like 2.5 car garage that was enclosed.
2.5?
Well, it was like you could put 2 cars in there, and there was like space in the back and space on the side. Like there was a little extra.
Oh, okay.
So it was bigger than 2 cars. It was a good sized garage. It was basically my big storage unit.
Yeah.
I think I parked a car in there once just to show that I could get it in there, but I had to throw away a lot of stuff.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was fun moving.
Oh, I'm sure.
I got rid of a lot of stuff, but I got rid of a lot of stuff, but I've now added. You can't push against your natural
instincts,
your natural nature. But you got to find out what works with. I mean, you can try it.
I could try.
It's always good to clear the space.
There's a lot of things that I have that aren't quite trash, but aren't quite functional. I don't have an example of it, but I do have a lot of things that's like, this isn't quite trash, so I can't throw it out.
I know, but Goodwill's good for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're on any of the free.
I am. I'm on Buy Nothing Coralville. I
on
put a lot of stuff on
the free Iowa City, and I'm like, now I remember why I got off of it, because somebody's like giving away, underwear only worn once. I'm like,
oh no, I've never seen that.
I'm like,
that's against the rules.
Well, it was washed and laundered, and she just grew out of it, or something. I don't know why, but it was like a whole pack of it. I'm like,
I think giving underwear away is only acceptable if it's like those pack underwear from Walmart and it hasn't been opened or worn ever.
Like you took one out, it doesn't fit, and then you left the rest of them in there, and you're done. Yeah.
Right. That's the only time it's acceptable.
I just thought
that's weird.
I don't want to get notifications for this group anymore, but I'll check in on it every so often.
I never get anything from Buy Nothing. I only use it as a receptacle to get rid of stuff, which maybe goes against like the ethos of the Buy Nothing project. But
I always stick stuff out on. Well, I'm gonna use my own Facebook as my, I'll put it outside. I'm like, hey, if anybody wants this, they can have it.
Yeah, I put out it's like this big bin. And it was disguised as like a footrest, but my cats like completely ripped it to shreds, like the sides of it. So it's a functional box, but it looks terrible. And I put it out on the street corner, and it's still there. Nobody wants it. I'm like, it's usable. It just is ugly.
I have one of those too, actually.
And I didn't want to keep it. So
I have one of those too, but I keep thinking I can fix it. I can
right.
The little hanging like shoe rack thing for your. I still use that. I use it to keep T-shirts and stuff in.
Did I give that to you?
Yeah. You posted it. I'm like, I was literally just looking for one of those things.
I'm like, before I put it on Marketplace, does anyone want? I used to use that before I knew about Buy Nothing, and now I put I put all of my stuff on Buy Nothing.
I know when I was moving out of my old house, like I had so much stuff, and I like had this big long driveway. I just put it all out, posted on Facebook. I'm like, it is going to be here all day. It's not going to rain or anything. Everyone just pull into the driveway. It's a drive-through. Grab what you want.
That's a good idea.
Nobody took anything. I had a couple of people like, hey, what about that thing? How much do you want? I'm like, I want nothing for it.
Please, just take it off my hands.
I will deliver it to you. And so I got rid of a couple things that way, but most of it just ended up. I mean, at least I got it organized to the point where I knew I wanted to get rid of this stuff, and then that just went into the car and to Goodwill.
And see, whenever I post on Buy Nothing, it's always porch pickup. Like, I've never delivered anything. I mean, if I really wanted something gone, I would be willing to do that, but so far I haven't needed to.
Yeah.
Apparently, the captain of this Star Trek ship is Chris Evans, which does make me
Wait, is Chris Evans
more interested.
Captain America?
Yeah.
Oh, why is he doing a TV show?
It makes me more interested.
Wait, is that the same guy?
It. Yeah, Chris Evans.
Why is he doing a TV show?
Is he not Captain America anymore?
He's a movie guy.
I mean, you can do both. There's not a rule.
I know, but it seems like a step backwards.
He can do both if he wants.
What they need is a reality TV, what they need is a Star Trek type show, but filmed like it's The Office. I would watch that. Hey, I would totally watch that. Like a sci-fi, futuristic,
sci-fi Office. That's funny.
Pseudo documentary about life on a spaceship.
Hey, Contact.
They did it for
Hollywood.
vampires. They can do it for, or the other family. What's that one? That other family show that does it, kind of a pseudo documentary.
Parks and Rec.
That's another one too, I guess. That was quite the trend.
It was
fake
no, but there
documentaries.
is another one.
Not Family Matters. Modern Family.
Oh yes, I never finished that.
I mean, I stopped watching it after I think the last couple seasons. I never really finished.
No, he misspoke. It's Chris Pine.
Those are the same guy. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
Chris Pine and Chris, they're different.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why would he go from wait, is Marvel?
No, Chris Pine is a movie guy too, though.
But he's not as big as Chris Evans. What has Chris Pine been in? What movie has he been in?
He was in Wonder Woman. He was in Don't Worry, Darling. He was in The Princess Diaries too. He was in Just My Luck.
Always has the lovesick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't a superhero. Chris Evans is a legit superhero.
Right.
Why would you... It would be a step down to be captain of Star Trek.
Well, I mean, he misspoke.
I mean, they're both captains, I guess.
And
Captain America and Captain.
And they're both named Chris.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same person, though.
No.
Chris Pine is like the Wish version of Chris Evans.
Oh my gosh, that's so
And Chris
rude.
Pratt is the...
Dumpster
Well, he's trash.
The dumpster version. Yeah.
But they're all pretty much the same.
No, they're not. That's so rude.
I didn't know the difference. That's why I had to ask Chris Evans. He's like somebody else, isn't he?
They don't even look alike, Cindy.
They do kind of look alike.
No, they don't. They're both white men. They're both
handsome men.
They're both
with short hair.
Handsome white men in their early 40s.
Okay, same. Similar physiques.
Actually, no. I think Chris Pine might be... Actually, he is skinnier than Chris Evans.
Less muscle. Chris Evans is like muscle on muscle.
Yes.
I think.
I think he's the best looking superhero. Actually, no.
Oh, speaking.
Wait. No, that's not true. Henry Cavill as Superman.
I don't like Henry Cavill.
I do. I think he was the best one. I mean...
Wait, are we talking best looking superheroes? Well... I think Michael Keaton Batman. I don't think that's a long time ago.
I don't think he was that cute.
It's not about being physically cute. It's about being that
that's
charisma.
That's what I was talking about.
That dark charisma that Michael Keaton had in Batman. But current superheroes, I'm not sure. I don't have.
Well, I wouldn't.
Oh no, Deadpool.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Again, Henry Cavill was Superman a decade ago, so that's not exactly recent.
No, it isn't.
Not in the world of superheroes when they come out with a new movie every half year.
But I think he still is the Superman. I mean, I don't know for sure.
I think he's not Superman anymore. Is he?
Do they even have Superman in any of the movies anymore?
Well, not.
I get them all. They're
actually. Let's look it up.
Speaking of man, like eye candy, get on my Apple again, because we've talked about this guy before, Taron
Egerton.
Oh my God.
I know.
Blackbird. Oh my God.
But is it a good show, or is
I've
it just
watched 2 or 3 episodes, and I have to admit, I started watching it because I saw clips on TikTok, and he had his shirt off, and oh my God, this guy, he's just like pure muscle on his chest.
Oh, that must be a new development, because
It
he
is.
wasn't.
He's so huge
Because
that
he
like
was Elton John and Rocket Man, and
I
he's
think
not,
they downplayed.
It's not a muscular role,
but like
obviously.
in The Kingsman, he was built, but they never really showed him like this. Like he is built, and like American accent, all that stuff. But the premise is really, it's a little unbelievable. But I like the idea that he is supposed to become friends with this guy who they think is a serial killer, and try to get this guy. And the guy who plays the serial killer is a very interesting role, and the guy who plays him is really good.
Okay, maybe eventually I will watch it. I still have to finish Nashville, and I haven't gotten to the twist yet, so I can't talk about it.
I feel really bad
yet.
if I like completely.
So I can't talk about it yet, but I will say, season 5, they something shifted. The vibes of the show completely changed, and I had to Google it. I'm like, what happened in season 5? Like, behind the scenes, and not only did they get a new showrunner, they switched like providers. So instead of like ABC or whatever, they went to CMT, which is Country Music Television.
I can't believe I made it to season 5 then.
Yeah, I don't understand how you did either, because you don't seem like a country music television kind of gal.
But I mean, I really liked the show. But
so maybe you made the switch because you liked the show, I guess.
Forgetting.
But anyway, so like, but it's completely different. Like the tone is a little bit darker. The like the scenes, they stay longer in scenes. Like it seems like where they would naturally break, like they just extend it, which is a very odd choice to make. But I mean, I'm still enjoying it, but it's just so different. And I've never experienced that with a show, like, so drastically. Like, I know a lot of shows, like, change showrunners or change whatevers, but...
I don't even pay, like, attention until somebody says something about it, and I'm like, that does make sense.
I mean, I knew immediately. I could tell immediately. Even the lighting changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was weird. Like, everything is kind of grayscale now.
I remember noticing that in Law & Order. There was one season that was like, they filmed it completely different. Like, it was like these fast, like...
Right.
They would speed it up and slow it down. I'm like, what is going on? Like, and I'm guessing if I were to, like, really research it, I'd find out that some new, person was running it. But it was out of character for the show. Anyway,
I have an answer for the Henry Cavill question. Henry Cavill is not Superman any longer. Apparently, David Cornsweet is going to be the new
Who is that?
I don't know who that is. I have no idea. And I don't care that much.
I know the last movie that he played Superman, like, they had to reshoot some scenes, and he was already on another show or movie, and he had a beard, and they had to do the CGI thing, and it was really weird when you looked at his mouth.
Oh my God.
It was really weird, and I remember thinking, God, this is really weird, and then I had to, of course, go to Google and find out, like, what is going on with his mouth? Like, I think I even searched Henry Cavill's mouth or something like that, and
oh my God.
And I came up with, like, they had to reshoot it, and they had to do the special effects.
That's a risky click.
They had to do special effects to, like, make his beard. I don't know what show he was doing, but
I hate that. Just because it's like, as long as they have been using CGI, the CGI technology is not yet where they want it to be. And so we can tell when there's weird de-aging software or, like, de-bearding software used. Like, you can tell. Which is why every single movie with, like, a lot of special effects is so dark. Because if it's dark, you can't tell all of the errors that are there. And so that's why every movie is so dark.
I'm a little less critical just because I grew up with the original Star Wars, which was, like, those special effects were so like far beyond what anyone had ever seen before. But then when you go back and watch it 10, 15, 20 years later, you're like, it's like watching, it's like playing Atari for the first time. It's like, that was such a big deal. And then like 5 years later, it's like in television, like makes it look like crap. And now we've got, so I'm like, I understand, but I'm always impressed a little bit when they do the de-aging thing.
See, I always think it looks so weird.
It does look weird, but it's always kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I would rather you just hire a kid to play.
Why don't they use like the filters on TikTok? Some of those are like flawless.
Do you know what? I use the aging one, and like that's the one that all the doctors on TikTok are saying that like that's how you're actually gonna age, and I look just like my grandma, dad's mom. I look just like Gaga.
That's how genetics work.
And I think it's funny, but I did the de-aging one, the teen one, and I'm just like, all they did was smooth out my face, and I'm like, my skin still had texture when I was a teen, and so this just looks like you used the blurring tool on Photoshop.
But Molly,
what?
You look like a teenager already.
True. You know what? I am 30 years old. I would like to at least think I look early 20s.
Maybe.
Do you really think I could
I don't know that I would card you for alcohol, but I would...
If I rolled up to City High and just started like walking in the halls, do you think people would
you could
notice?
blend in.
You think I could blend in?
Yes.
Interesting.
I mean, you'd have to wear their clothes and stuff. I don't know what kids wear these days.
Also, wait, I actually know some people who work at City High, like my contemporaries, and they would know. They would be like, what are you doing?
I think I would think you were a teenager.
Right.
But I think the teenagers would think you're a narc.
Yeah. Wait, I'd be Drew Barrymore and never been kissed.
Okay, I love that movie. I hate Drew Barrymore, but I love that movie.
And see, I love Drew Barrymore, but I hate that movie.
Really?
Yes.
Did you like Cinderella?
It's
the Cinderella
weird.
movie that she did?
No.
And I love that movie, but...
So, Never Been Kissed is such a weird movie. It's because, like, the teacher is attracted to Drew Barrymore, and I know, like, her character is an adult, but he's still, like, he didn't know that. And so he's, like, crushing on this, who he thinks is a teenager. That's weird. That makes him a predator.
But he doesn't do anything about it until she says who she is, and even then he's like, I don't know.
No, but it's just weird. I don't like the concept.
And see, I didn't have that much of a problem with it, but I did have a problem with Bella and what's-his-face in the vampire movie. Because he's like 100 years old, and she's like 13 or 12 or however, 15.
17.
Okay, well.
But his body is also 17.
I know, but he is not.
It's a gray area with vampires.
Not.
Speaking of Twilight, it's going to be like 68 and rainy on Sunday, so I'm going to rot on my couch and watch the Twilight movies. I'm very excited about it.
I haven't watched them forever. I actually read the books, too.
Yeah, I really liked both the books and the movies as a teen, but I feel like...
I was a fully grown adult when I watched them.
Well, I haven't read the books since I was a teen. I should do that. But I watch the movies, like, every few years, and I tell this to people who say, like, they've never seen it, like, as adults, and I'm like, I don't think you would like it if you saw it for the first time as an adult, because it's not that great, but if you were, like, a rabid fan when it first came out, especially if you were a kid or a teenager, you have this, like, this affection and nostalgia for it, so even though you can identify that it's objectively, like, not very good, you can still enjoy it because you have, like, that affection and nostalgia for it. And so that's why I don't encourage people to watch it for the first time as an adult, because it's like, you don't have that. Yeah. And so you're just gonna be like, people like this? Really?
What is this? It's so dramatic.
Although I will say, a few years ago, my sister and I did watch all the movies with one of our friends who had never seen it, but she had at least, like, been around when the frenzy was, like, at its peak, and she enjoyed it, and I enjoyed watching it with her for the first time, because she would react to all the right bits at the right time.
I don't think I would react in the right way for you to watch with you.
No, exactly. And
I'd
so
be a
that's
lot
why
of snarky, like... Really? First time they met, they're in love.
Right. And so I prefer, if I'm going to watch Twilight with people, I prefer to do it like with people who like loved it as teens, just like I did.
I would have gone for the werewolf, I'm just saying. Because they don't live forever.
You know what? I feel like...
And they could go hunting and get food.
I thought Taylor Lautner was cuter than Edward, but I just like vampires more than I like werewolves.
I mean,
so I was
generally,
Team Edward.
But when you're talking about dating, would you rather date a vampire or a werewolf?
Neither. Werewolves seem violent. Like
only when they turned.
No, if they get angry, then they turn.
That they're not Hulk.
They are in the Twilight universe. Like
I thought they had to be a full moon.
No, they get angry and then they get.
Werewolves change at the moon.
Yeah.
If they are shapeshifters, they can do it at any time.
So.
Right.
That's not the rules of the Twilight universe.
Okay, well. They had vampires going outside during the day, so.
Well, yeah, because they sparkle. But they live in the Pacific Northwest, and so people can't see them sparkle. It's, like, cloudy all the time.
I know, but there's still sun coming through.
A little bit, sometimes.
That was just a workaround they had to do to
I feel
make
like
the story work.
Stephanie, the author, really just wanted her setting to be high school, and that's not compatible with typical vampires who can't come out.
I know, and that's
during the
another
daylight.
question. Why did they have to go to high school?
I know, they could all pass for, like, college, or...
They could have, like, just homeschooled, pretend, like, to fit in or to meet people. I mean...
You know, it's...
They want to be secretive, but they go to high school?
Do you know, it was all... Bella is an insert for the audience. She is an audience insert. That's why she has, like, no personality. It's so you can see yourself in her, and you can live vicariously through her. And so that is why Stephanie, like, put them all in high school and put... Like, she wanted to live out this fantasy that she's created for her character. That is what Bella is supposed to be. And that is why the vampires had to go to high school, so they could meet.
Okay. I mean...
Anyway, but I agree with you. Like, especially the actors that they got to play the high schoolers, they were all in their, like, early to mid-20s. And, like, it's like, you could easily pass for college. Why couldn't Bella be in college? Why couldn't this have been set in college?
Yeah. Or just all meet at a coffee shop and you're all just whatever age.
Yeah, like it could be just a meet cute. But no. Well, another thing is, like, I guess she wanted it to be a young adult story. Mm-hmm. And young adult stories typically follow, like, young adult protagonists, like teens and even children.
In school.
Yeah. Because the school bit, I guess, is relatable to the young adult audience. I don't know. That's just what I would do if I were an author.
And we're not.
Not yet. I could write a book. I don't know.
You clean out your room and you turn it into like a little studio. A book studio. Book writing studio. Get out the Chat GPT or whatever that's called.
No, I wouldn't. I would not use AI. I would use my brain to write a book. I might. I have ideas.
You can take my reality show Star Trek idea and run with it.
I could. And I'd give you 5% of
I'm telling
the
you,
royalties.
if that show comes out next year,
You're
started
suing.
here.
You're suing.
No, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to tell everybody it was my idea.
No, but you have to sue for money. Well, I mean,
I guess we have a recording, don't we? This
do.
is
our proof,
copyrights.
Yeah. And you know, SAG-AFTRA is on strike right now. They have nothing else to do. Maybe they are listening to this show, and they just mine for
Let's get
content.
some rando from Iowa.
Yes. All right, so we are going to actually take a little break right now for news and weather, and I'm going to get all the skinny on Cindy's boyfriend in the copy. Copy. All right, so you're listening to the Mighty 1630 KCJJ.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. 2 adults have died and at least 5 other people critically injured in the crash of a charter bus carrying Long Island, New York high school students to band camp. The bus veered off of I-84 and tumbled down a ravine about 45 miles northwest of New York City. Governor Kathy Hochul.
While it's preliminary, it is likely that a faulty front tire contributed to the accident.
More from WCBS TV's Ali Bauman at the scene.
The National Transportation Safety Board will send a team here to investigate. They're expected to arrive on scene by tomorrow morning. The high school tells us it's trying to reunite students with their parents now. Some students told us earlier that this is so devastating. It's something they never expected could have happened.
No progress yet on Capitol Hill when it comes to keeping the government open past the end of the month. The latest from CBS's Scott McFarland.
With the deadline looming for a painful government shutdown,
the resolution is not adopted.
Things continue to fall apart in the U.S. House.
I don't know what direction they're coming from.
A handful of Republicans, some of whom oppose sending more aid to Ukraine.
I've been no on Ukraine the entire time.
Continue to jam House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who's been trying and failing to pass bills to keep the government open with Republican votes only.
President Biden held a bilateral meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House today.
Mr. President, the brave people of Ukraine, and that's not hyperbole, the people of Ukraine have shown enormous bravery, has inspired the world.
Mr. Biden has announced a $335 million aid package for Ukraine. With stalled gun safety measures on Capitol Hill, President Biden is creating a new White House office. CBS's Willie James Inman explains.
The White House is going to use this office to respond to any crisis that develops with gun violence. If there's a mass shooting, they're also going to use it to prevent gun violence.
Years in the making, Florida is now getting a fast train with its first paying customers riding the rails tomorrow. CBS's Peter King explains.
It's called Brightline. It runs between Orlando International Airport and Miami, and it could be a godsend for anyone who hates driving Interstate 95. CEO Mike Reininger calls it
safer, that's greener, that is a great value proposition, it's fun to do, and it's a hassle-free sort of travel experience.
Passengers who've tried a shorter route in South Florida like it.
It seemed like the coolest way to get down to Miami. I don't think the price is too bad.
Neon yellow trains will go as fast as 125 miles per hour. Brightline has made a $5 billion bet that a private corporation will carry as many as 8 million passengers a year between here and Miami. Peter King, CBS News, Orlando.
This is CBS News.
You need to hire fast and hire right? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates efficiently. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
From the Hertine and Stocker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Now, Iowa City's news first.
I'm Tommy Lang with KCJJ News. An armed Iowa City man was taken into custody earlier this week after allegedly interfering with officers talking with another individual who had an active arrest warrant. The incident took place near the intersection of Clinton and Washington Streets Monday afternoon. Officers were speaking to an individual about a warrant when 33-year-old Sean Christopher of Catskill Court allegedly interjected himself into the conversation and started to yell at officers. He then reportedly got closer to the officers while grabbing a knife that was on his belt line. That caused officers to take Christopher to the ground. Christopher was charged with interference with official acts. He pleaded guilty on Tuesday and was fined $250. An Iowa City woman who was reportedly aware a protected party was going to attend an event in downtown Iowa City decided to go as well, despite being told by authorities that being at the same venue would be a violation of the no-contact order. 50-year-old Trina Thompson of South Gilbert Street called the Iowa City Police Department last Thursday and asked if she could attend the 50 Years of Rap event at the England Theater, knowing that the protected party would also be there. She was told she could not go. The next night at the event, Thompson allegedly showed up and was reported to police by staff, who claimed she was causing problems. When police arrived, Thompson reportedly told them she was there to see the protected party. A search subsequent to arrest allegedly turned up 2 pipes. Thompson reportedly said one was used to smoke methamphetamine, while the other was used to smoke marijuana. Thompson was charged with violating a no-contact order and possession of drug paraphernalia. She could be sentenced to up to 60 days in jail if convicted on both counts. Johnson County Conservation is holding a 2-day Building Better Birders workshop Friday and Saturday. The free workshop is great for birders of all skill levels. Friday's schedule includes a presentation on nocturnal raptors of Iowa and an evening owl prowl. Saturday's schedule includes a morning bird hike, a presentation on raptors, and a live raptor program. Attendees should plan on attending all or most activities on both days. Registration is required. You can do that online at johnsoncountyiowa.gov/conservation/events. You can also register by phone at 319-645-1011. In sports, Hawkeye fans can now support NIL activities for student athletes on all 22 Hawkeye athletic teams through the Swarm Collective. Previously, donations could only be made to the Iowa football, men's basketball, and women's basketball programs. Individuals who make a one-time gift of $1,000 or more, or commit to monthly gifts of $100 or more, will be able to direct their NIL support to any of the Hawkeye athletic programs. For more information on the Swarm Collective, visit iowaswarm.com. University of Iowa field hockey freshman Dion Van Aslam has been named the National Field Hockey Coaches Association Offensive Player of the Week after recording 5 goals and 4 assists in a pair of wins last weekend. The number 1 Hawkeyes travel to Ann Arbor, Michigan to open Big Ten play against number 8 Michigan at 5 o'clock Friday afternoon. That game can be seen on BTN+. Despite rankings, injuries, and where the game is played, Iowa-Penn State football games have recently been close contests. Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz said earlier this week, in order to have a shot at winning the game on Saturday, Iowa's defense can't have a breakdown in communication and technique like was seen during a long touchdown by Western Michigan last weekend.
One thing I do know is that, you can't play good defense if you don't tackle, and then the other thing, if you give up big plays, and they usually go together, but we didn't even have a chance to tackle on that one because of just, miscommunication, and that all 3 phases, it's like electricity in the water. It's just a bad combination. Bad things really can happen fast if not everybody's on the same page, and that's really kind of what happened there, and then, some poor technique on top of it. So, we better not do that again, or it's, because we won't be able to survive, easy touchdowns like that.
Saturday's game kicks off at 6:40 and can be seen on CBS. We've got high school football for you Friday night on KCJJ. Clear Creek Amana hosting Oskaloosa at about 7:30. Our full schedule of games can be found on the KCJJ app and at 1630, kcjj.com, under high school sports. With KCJJ News, I'm Tommy Lang.
KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. For tonight, a mostly cloudy sky with isolated showers and storms and lows in the low 60s. Foggy areas as well. Scattered rain for tomorrow, some rumbles of thunder too, more cloudiness and highs in the upper 70s. Into Saturday, it looks like a mix of sun and clouds, a stray storm around, high near 80 degrees, showers likely Sunday and near 70. That's KCJJ weather. It's 69 degrees right now.
You're listening to Molly Suter on the mighty 1630 KCJJ.
Not just me.
It's
but
me
also,
too.
Also Cindy. Yay.
Yay.
Nobody else is in the chat room tonight. I love that we have Elvis with us, but...
Does he just hear it off of Twitter then? Or X, or whatever it's called? Or is he still doing that? Is he still calling it X?
It is X.
Oh, jeez.
I don't call it that. I'm calling it Twitter until it dies, but... I think Elvis just listens, and he
knows our schedule better than we
knows,
do.
Yeah. And then I said on the air, I'm like, we're going to be on YouTube tonight, so that's how he knew.
Oh, cool.
Elvis, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you see it on Twitter?
Because do you read minds?
Do I read minds?
Does he?
Oh, maybe. Maybe he does.
Is he psychic?
Maybe he's psychic. But anyway, if you would like to contribute to the chat room discussion that is non-existent at the moment, you can go to youtube.com, and our channel is called The Mighty 1630 KCJJ.
Which you should already subscribe to.
Yeah, you should already be subscribed to it, but just in case you're not, go there, and we're live. We're live for another 50-ish minutes.
Yeah.
So... give us some stuff to talk about. Although, Cindy did send me a new subreddit we can peruse.
I want to talk quickly, though, about Lauren Boebert.
Oh,
not how fabulous her boobs looked, but there was, and I hate saying things nice about her, I really do. But, like, some of the interviews that she's done kind of on the street where people are catching her, like, hey, what do you think? You know, she's, like, handled it pretty well, like, kind of laughing it off, like, you know, I'm going through some stuff, and if you want to make a joke of me, I'm fine if you guys want to laugh. But she made some comment about how she needs to check the party affiliation of the date that she goes on next, because apparently the guy that she went out with, that you heard that she got kicked out of a theater on her first date. She was being
Beetlejuice
rude.
the musical.
I mean, she's vaping and taking like flash photography.
Yeah,
and,
why are you vaping?
And also, literally,
also, why are you giving a hand job at the theater too?
I mean, there was something going on that was like,
why are you doing all of that at a theater?
Right.
I mean, I think I know the reason, but I don't want to talk about it. But
I want to talk about the fact that she doesn't check her dates to see what their political affiliation.
I do. That's the first thing I
mean,
check.
I don't necessarily check to see, are you a registered Republican or Democrat? I want to know if you're conservative or liberal. Like, if you're conservative, I'm not interested.
I mean, I feel like registering to vote is also very important. I don't
I
want to be with someone who doesn't vote.
I mean,
that's important to me.
True, yes. But I also don't want to date somebody who's just like conservative leaning in any way.
No,
like,
I don't either.
You can be a Democrat and be conservative, and I don't really want to.
Right.
I mean, that's not really.
Anyway, but what? So, did the guy she was on a date with, was he?
He must have been.
Democrat, liberal?
He's probably, I don't know, libertarian. I have no idea. That would be the worst for everyone.
No, I would never date a libertarian.
I hadn't
either.
heard, but like somebody on TikTok had made the comment of how she like came from a place of privilege where she, you know, as a conservative doesn't necessarily have to check ahead of time, but as liberals we kind of have to, because to us it's like, at least to me,
it's a deal breaker.
Well, yeah,
not to everyone, not to every liberal. It's not a deal breaker. To me, it is, just because I'm pretty far left, as I've said before, and I don't want to date anyone who's even a moderate.
I mean, I've had lots of not lots, but I've had more than one conservative dude try to date me and try to talk me into dating, because I'm like, I'm really not interested.
I think
I'm not interested.
That's more of a conservative male thing. Like, to them, it's not a big deal.
They think they can change your mind.
What your political beliefs are, because either they think they can change your mind, or they don't value your opinion at all.
True.
So it doesn't matter what you think.
Right. But it matters to me, obviously.
Well,
but,
yeah, obviously. I'm just saying.
So I just kind of wonder
them.
if other conservative women, they don't care.
You know, there are some people who still, I guess, don't care, who want to, like, hear you out before they know, like, your politics or whatever. I'm not one of those people. I definitely need to know before I even think about dating.
For me, so much of the politics tells me what your morals and values are.
Exactly.
So if you're going to vote for a party that takes away my right to use birth control,
takes away not only my rights, but like the rights of my family and friends who are trans and gay.
Yeah,
so
all sorts of things. So that I just can't. I mean, to me, that makes you like a bad person. I don't care how you vote. If you don't, I don't care. It's just like that makes you not a good person.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want to be with someone who aligns with your morals. Right. I would think.
Yes. Yes. 100%. I just thought that was an interesting take on that whole debacle.
Yeah, that surprises me as well, just because I don't actually know a lot about who she is.
She's horrible.
I mean,
she's
I've
like
heard
the one that says, if every time there's a dumb quote, it's either her or
Marjorie Taylor
Marjorie,
Greene.
yes. I was going to call her Margot.
So, wait, why did... Maybe this is just a man thing, because, like, this liberal guy went on a date with her. Surely he knows who she is.
No, for sure, because I didn't really deep dive into that side of it, but she had made the comment, like, obviously she found out he was not a Republican.
Right.
I'm guessing. But, I don't know.
I guess he could have been a libertarian.
Well,
or otherwise.
Did you see the dress?
Actually, no.
I think any man would have gone out with that.
You know what? I did not engage in a lot of that content just because I'm like, she's vaping and giving a hand job at Beetlejuice.
She looked amazing. I mean, she looked good. If I were a liberal dude, I'd definitely try to hit that. And he did right in the audience.
Well, I have to look.
I mean,
dress.
It wasn't just the dress. It was her boobs looked great. I know they're not real, but you know,
they're not.
I'm pretty sure they're not. They're too.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of her.
Although
honestly.
she's younger, she's got a couple kids though. There's no way. There's no way they're real, but I don't really care either way. I'm not going to shame somebody for
absolutely not
getting some work done. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting take on the whole thing.
Oh, I don't love that dress.
I mean,
she's in.
But look at her boobs.
Yeah, the boobs are fine. I don't like the dress. To me, it looks very Jersey Shore.
Okay, well, Jim Dan Laundry, GTL. You never watched?
Yeah, of course I watched Jersey Shore.
Are you watching Jersey Family Vacation or whatever they call it?
No, I haven't. But
my daughter loves it.
I think I have to now, just because. But the original was just so iconic when I was. Mm-hmm. When I was in high school, that was like the only reality TV I even like watched, and sometimes Amy and I will put it on like just if we're talking or whatever down in the living room, and we'll put on like the iconic "Where's the Beach" episode.
Is that the one where Snooki's like gets arrested at the end of it?
Drunk, and because she's like running around the boardwalk, and she's like, "Where's the beach?" And the beach is right there. She's like, "Where's the beach?" And she's like going up to harass people. She's like, "Where's the beach?" And they're like, "It's right there." And so yeah, she gets arrested for disorderly conduct.
Of course. I just love the meatballs. Like I love that.
Yeah.
That friendship is just so wonderful.
And they're called the meatballs because they're like 4'9".
Oh God, they're so short.
They're so short. Yeah.
The hair, like that hair.
Oh my God.
Iconic.
It is iconic.
The big bump it.
Yeah.
Those were like such a big thing.
It was such a big thing. I was never into that, but
just that whole Jersey. I'd always thought it was kind of like, you know, the island where like they had the animals that were only raised on that island and they didn't have access to anything else, and they all kind of like developed differently than other islands.
No.
That's how Jersey is. Like the beauty standards of Jersey
are different.
Are so different. Like
I would argue it bleeds from like Jersey to New York. Like it's a very East Coast like.
I know, but Jersey's very specific. I watched a lot of Jersey reality TV back in the day, and like their houses are different. Like they do all the plastic over the. And everything's just like very like Donald Trump, like gold and white, and you know, like
really?
Just very, and then like just the beauty standard of the women. And I think it's gorgeous, but it's definitely not.
It's different.
The
yeah.
pale blonde, blue-eyed, skinny.
Well, it's because like in New Jersey, there's a lot of women of like Italian descent, and so
but like
the beauty
big
standard is going to be
hair,
different. Yeah,
super tan. The big lashes, like everything is just. And then the men
really
are
tight
like
animal print dresses.
the men are like the tight pants, the tight shirts, the muscles, and just the hair that is.
Like Pauly D.
I don't know if you ever watched the Gotti show.
No.
God, those boys did the same thing as Pauly, and those guys did with like the hair and the gel and this. I don't know what they use in their hair, but it does not move.
No, it doesn't.
But nowhere else in America is that.
Yeah, did he like permanently like ruin his hair by doing that like every day? I've never seen his hair in any other hairstyle. Like even to this day.
And then
I
the
think
one
he
that's
still-
spiky
he
too.
still
They do the
does
spiky or the slick back. I don't know. I do like the most recent version. I've seen like the first season of it, and they've got the situation. What is his real name? I don't know. Mike. He's like grown quite a bit, like since because he got, I think it was tax evasion. Like he made a bunch of money. I mean, he was really like, he popped off after that show and like did not have an accountant pay his taxes.
Oh gosh.
So he owed a lot of money, and I think there's some other issues. But like when they went on vacation, he couldn't come down initially because he couldn't leave the state. So yeah, and he's now, I think he's got a baby now.
Well, they all do. I think.
Yeah.
I think most of the girls are mothers now too.
But I see him compared to like the original, where he was sleeping with different women every night and just kind of treating them like crap. Too. Like it was very misogynistic.
Well, that show just
horrible.
Rampant misogyny.
Yeah.
If you watch it now, you have to really take it with a grain of salt. Like, wow,
that's the way they were back then.
That's just how it was. Like back in the late 2000s, it was just like you could say anything or do anything about women, and like you would have no consequences.
No,
whatsoever.
I mean it was
not a great thing to grow up seeing. But anyway, I didn't like him anyway in the original series because he was a lot older than the other people. Like the girls were all in their early 20s, and I think Mike was like 30.
I don't think he was that much older.
He was 30. Wait,
was he?
We're looking at.
I just remember even back then thinking he was on something like steroids or something because him and the other, I can't remember any of their names. There's a couple of them that seemed to be a little roided out because they were always flying off the handle at every little thing.
Okay, he's 41 right now, and so he would have been like, when did that show start? 2009?
I have no idea.
So like 14 years ago. Okay, so maybe he wasn't as old, but
he looked older though. He did look older.
He did, but he was older than the girls, and he was like I think the oldest in the house. Or
I think you're right there.
Maybe Polly. Wait, how old is Polly? Pauly D. How old are you? 43. Oh, he was the old one.
He was like a baby though.
He was like 30. He was 29 or 30 when the show started. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm forgetting everybody's name.
But so, that's so old to be like partying like that.
I have to admit though, because MTV did a couple of Jersey Shore, like the Jersey Shore reality show, obviously, but then they did a couple of True Life I don't know if you ever watched True Life ever. Back in the day, it might have been before your time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But they did the Jersey Shore thing, and it just seemed like such an experience. Like a bunch of people living in a house. Like they did, I mean, they got the concept obviously from real life because kids would rent houses on the Jersey Shore during the summer and go over there for the weekends and get really drunk and do whatever. And there'd be like 20 of them in a house, and it was like a whole thing.
So Sammy's sweetheart she is 36 right now. She was only like 21 when she started that show. That's so young.
Yeah. And Ronnie is the other one that he...
Ronnie, yeah.
I didn't know... And I'm on the Jersey Shore, like, Wikipedia or whatever. I didn't even know they had last names.
Ortiz Magdo.
Some of them have last names.
Yeah,
did you know that?
Yes, he's only a year older than Sammy, so that's not too
But he's
bad,
the other one that I thought was doing something besides just getting drunk all the time.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
he's huge. No.
And they were doing other...
I'm sure.
stuff
I'm sure
to make it so
they were
volatile
all
and
doing
so.
something. Yeah.
My favorite though was when didn't they go to Italy one year?
Yes,
that was fun.
That was season 4, I believe.
That was really cool. The house was really cool too.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I thought it was funny seeing them try to like make coffee in that old like French press, and like whenever they would try to order pizza, they'd be like, "I want pepperoni," and they're like, "Okay, well pepperoni is different here. So what do you want is like hot salami," and they're like, "Yeah."
I think they learned how to say the cabs are here in Italian, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah.
I still say that like when I work with the client that has like the seats butts gum. I'm like, the boss is here.
Cab's here.
Cabs are here.
But like, looking back on it is just like, why was it so iconic? Like, they're just getting drunk and going to clubs and like coming back home, and then they'll work like a 4-hour shift at their job, and that's it.
It was clearly so. I mean, I'm surprised you watch it because you don't watch reality TV. I've watched reality TV since Real World, so
it was.
But a lot of people that didn't watch reality TV watched Jersey Shore.
It was a really big like cultural thing.
Yeah,
like in high school, like everyone watched it, even into college. Like the Italy season was when I was in college, and people were still watching it.
I mean, you said 2009.
I believe 2009 was for season 1.
Oh, so I was watching it when my kids were kids still. 2009, right?
It was actually...
Yeah, so my kid was born in 2000.
It might have been 2010. Wait, let's see.
So I was
Jersey.
way too old to be watching it, but I still watched it and loved it. My kids were raised on Jersey Shore, is what I'm trying to say. That and Family Guy.
Oh, yeah, 2009.
Like, I think they remember.
December 3rd, 2009 is when it started.
I know my oldest daughter remembers watching the Anna Nicole show with me.
Oh, really?
That was not my finest parenting.
No, I never watched that. However, I did watch The Girls Next Door, which is the Playboy Bunny show.
Love that.
And, like, I don't think I should have been allowed to watch that. I don't think I would allow my kid to watch that.
Currently, 2 of them. Not Kendra, but the other 2. They're doing Holly and
what was her name? Holly, Kendra, and Stephanie? No.
Anyway.
No, what's her name? I forgot.
Melanie? No. Girls Next Door.
Girls Next Door.
They are doing a podcast.
Ooh.
And I started listening to it. I think it was last year it started. And so they're rewatching. Like the first couple episodes were like talking about background and how they became bunnies and how they become. Well actually they weren't bunnies. They weren't bunnies.
Well, I've read Holly's book, which is really, really interesting. That came out when I was still working at the bookstore. And I recommend that. I recommend you read that, Cindy.
I think I might. Yeah, I think
you should.
I should.
Anyway, what's her name?
I'm looking at right now.
Holly, Kendra,
cast.
and Maggie?
Bridget.
No. Bridget.
I liked Bridget the most anyway because she seemed to be the most together. But
she seemed the sweetest.
I highly recommend this podcast because they talk about it from the perspective of like before the show started. Mm-hmm. So they talk about the history of like when there were 7 girlfriends and like how like the Christmases worked and how things were changing and how Hef was like just, and they talk about the stuff that they never talk about on the Girls Next Door show because it was kind of whitewashed and not very, they talk about the sex, not like super detail, but like how it worked when they came home from the clubs.
Yeah, Holly goes into a little bit of detail about that too in the book.
And I'm glad they did because everybody wanted to know and no one would talk.
I mean, but because it was a TV show, you can't really like talk about that.
But even like on
TV.
press junkets, they were like, like they were just, and they were told to not say anything.
Right.
I mean, and plus, who wants to talk about their sex life with an old dude? And I like how they've gained the perspective of many years since.
Right, and they were really, really young.
Yeah. And it sounded like they really, truly loved him. At least Holly did. Like she was like the number one.
Holly was the main girlfriend. Yeah.
And it sounded like she kind of got screwed too because like she lived in his bedroom. Mm-hmm. She didn't have her own space. Like all the other girls had their own little rooms. that they could decorate or whatever. But anyway, it was a kind of an interesting insight into if you ever watch the show and you want to know what happened like behind the scenes. And then the first couple episodes, like I said, is like a background and like they're talking and like some of the stuff that happened with Kendra and like trying to be delicate about that or whatever happened there. And then they start rewatching the shows. And so they have like a little, they rewatch the show and then they do.
I love podcasts like that when they like watch it.
They're not like live watching it, but they're like.
No, they're recapping.
They're
like,
telling,
episode by
and
episode.
then they're telling like, here's what happened, you know, the week before and why we ended up doing the episode this way. And then like they would just kind of have the reactions and they would talk about some of the clips that they use and like, hey, I don't even remember filming that. Like, you know, like. It was interesting. It's interesting. I didn't get all the way through, but I listened to many episodes of.
There's so many podcasts that I just need to listen to because, like, my friends recommend, like, so many. But the problem is, I am interested in a lot of things, and so there is a billion podcasts out there for every niche interest you could ever possibly have. And so it's daunting.
I'm picky about who's like the voice that's doing the podcast. Because I was trying to listen to one that was like, date yourself. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Well, it was a younger girl that's talking about like getting to know herself and dating herself. I'm like, she talked like a teenager basically. And I'm like, okay, I'm not in that stage of my life. Like, I need some old wizened, 80-year-old woman telling me, here's what you need to do.
I listen to mostly music podcasts. And so that's what I like to listen to. But I also love history podcasts, too.
You can guess what's on my podcast list.
Reality TV?
No,
podcast.
None of the... I don't,
murder podcast.
Exactly. I can tell you what my top 10 Spotify.
My favorite murder.
I don't listen to that anymore.
Oh, you don't?
I kind of got bored of the hosts because they talked a lot about how many times they go to therapy a week. Which I'm like...
Good for them.
That? I mean, I love that they go to therapy, but I'm like, do you really need to go 5 times to like 3 different therapists?
Maybe they do. Maybe
like, I don't have that kind of time.
Listen, maybe there's a reason why they have a podcast about true crime.
It kind of got boring, so now I listen to my top ones that I.
Well, yeah, because they've been therapized.
48 hours.
Messed up anymore.
48 hours, Dateline, 2020, and Snapped.
Ooh,
are the ones that I rotate
I
through.
used to love watching the Snapped TV show. We would gather around as a family and eat dinner while watching Snapped.
It's always the women that went crazy. Which,
well, that was what
the theme.
That's what the show was, like women snapping, and we all loved it, including Dad. We were just tuning in every week.
For some reason, the murder podcasts are the only ones that really catch my attention. That I want to listen to the whole thing, but. Then I listen to the whole series, and I have to wait for the new episodes to come out. I don't like waiting.
I don't like waiting either, which is why when I talked about, like, the podcasts that review the show, like, episode by episode, I started listening to the Gilmore Girls one, but they were only on, like, season 2, so I want to, like, have a lot of episodes banked so I can binge it, and the same thing with New Girl. I think I would absolutely love the New Girl podcast, but...
Oh, really? They have a podcast on?
Yeah.
Huh.
Why? Why do you react
Is there any, like, drama that happened behind the scenes, or...?
No, there is probably just, like, what was happening behind the scene, or a little more background about this, or the tea about, like, guest stars... Because, like, Prince was on an episode, Taylor Swift was on an episode.
Of The New Girl?
Yeah.
I must have stopped watching at that point.
Are
we talking about the New Girl that, like...
Zooey Deschanel?
Yeah.
Yeah. New Girl has been over for, like,
I know, but
5 years
I
now.
watched, like, the first couple years of it, and then it kind of fell off my radar.
I feel like the first 4 seasons are, like, gold. They're so good. So I would recommend the first 4 seasons of New Girl to everyone listening, including you. It was so funny.
I've seen them, but like that's about probably when I stopped watching.
I've seen all of it. It does go downhill after season 4. But most shows do.
I mean,
most shows overstay their welcome by at least a season or 2.
Not The Office.
Well,
okay, there was 1 or 2 seasons.
Okay,
that were a little iffy, but
we have established how I feel about The Office.
That's one thing that's bothering me. I work in an office. Now it's like 2 offices, right? Nobody knows about The Office. In the offices. Like, no one watches it. I made a mega desk joke, and no one caught it.
I mean, when I was on the dating apps, like, every single bio was the gym looking for my Pam.
I know, that's so romantic.
And the Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky stupid quote. It's stupid. Stop saying that.
I don't even know what is that.
It's that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Okay.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. I'm like, that's not funny. It's not funny. I even saw that episode. It's not funny. Anyway, but like every single bio reference to The Office, so that surprises me that you don't have a single person in your office that watches The Office.
My previous office, the same thing.
Because that's all anybody, maybe it's a millennial thing. That's all anybody of my generation can talk about.
People have seen it, but like they weren't like watching it over and over again like I do. And like a lot of people do. A lot of people, that's their comfort show. They watch that over and over again.
Do you know what? I feel like that was a lot of people's comfort show like 7 to 10 years ago. Just like Parks and Rec. That was mine.
I watched that for comfort also too, but not as much as The Office.
So I feel like maybe it's less of a comfort show now than it was back then.
I know, but once you've watched it a million times, you remember, like, and Seinfeld was the same way. I didn't watch Seinfeld over and over again, but there was a point in time where, like, almost every single week, I would relate something to a Seinfeld episode. And now it's The Office. I can relate almost anything to The Office.
I think I would probably do that with New Girl. If I were to, like, reference the show.
That's our Roman Empire.
New Girl is my Roman Empire.
The Office is mine. God damn it, I knew there was one.
Oh, by the way, we cracked the code on the whole Roman Empire thing. It's only, like, straight white American men who think
I would
about the
say
Roman
middle class
Empire.
and above.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody broke is thinking about the Roman Empire. I would say, I'm guessing semi-educated too, don't you think?
Not necessarily. I don't know. I feel like if you don't have anything else to think about, the Roman Empire might as well be something.
That must be a really nice life. That must be a really nice life.
To think about the Roman Empire like twice a day.
It's crazy. We can talk about the Queen of the North and the short Jonas brother.
I've always been a Nick girl. I'm just gonna say it.
Is Nick the youngest one?
Yes, and the hottest one.
And Joe is the oldest?
No, Kevin's the oldest.
Kevin is the one that
doesn't sing, or at least doesn't sing like lead. He plays guitar.
Like there.
He plays guitar, I believe.
He was married to somebody famous though. Didn't they have they had a reality show?
Kevin is married to a civilian. She is not.
I know, but I think he had a reality show where they were newlyweds.
I think so, or they did something like that. But I'm just saying, nothing about Joe has sat right with me since 2009. I'm just gonna say it.
I never paid attention to him until I mean, okay, I did see the Jonas Brother movie. Because I had Jonas Brother, fans in the family, my kids.
Well, okay, so I am a Jonas Brothers fan. I play their music all the time on my music show. I'm just saying, as an individual, Joe has always skeeved me out.
Well,
and now we know why.
Someone was reading the divorce proceedings, or like they have some filing about child custody, like he's not letting the kids have their passports.
Yeah, to go home to England.
In that same thing, she was reading through and pointing out that she didn't know about the divorce until it hit the public.
No, that's crazy. How are you not being like, hey, I want a divorce?
Like,
to the mother of your children. Like, and you just have her find out via the media. Like, when the rest of the world found out, that's crazy. And she hasn't said anything, but she has been seen walking around New York with Taylor Swift.
I saw that picture. Yes. I think that is awesome, and I think
best-
Taylor should write a song about it.
It's the best thing that could have happened
Yeah.
because, like,
I didn't even know they were
Taylor,
friends.
Taylor is famously Joe Jonas's ex, like from when they were teenagers.
I didn't remember.
She
that.
has a lot of songs about him. This is the best thing Sophie could have done.
I mean, that is a good move. That's a really good move, on her part, because at least that she can get some validation of like all the things that have been probably.
Although I mean, it's different than when you're a teenager to when you're an adult, but you can also, it was just so funny. That they were seen walking and talking together. There's this picture of Taylor and her at a restaurant, and Taylor is just listening so intently, like her eyes are just locked in on her, and so
they should start dating.
I'm saying, but you can see like the gears turning in Taylor's head.
I just love her because her and so I of course know her from Game of Thrones,
right?
And a clip popped up on my FYP of her and Maisie, who played her sister, and they're in the car and they're like singing, or they're doing like theatrical performances of that Becky song, like the Big Butt song.
Oh,
like pretending that they're like
Baby Got Back.
Snow and like that kind of thing,
right?
And it is. I cannot do it justice, but you have to look it up.
So they're doing like the intro to Baby Got Back?
Yes. So like the Becky.
Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt.
And then
it's so big.
Halfway through, she realizes that she's not, Becky is the person she's trying to tell about the big butt and not, she's like, I've been trying to get Becky over here with the big butt, but that's not Becky. She's like, I'm trying to tell Becky over here about it. It's really funny, and she does accent, and it's just two friends. Like, she's not a troublemaker.
But yeah, we're definitely Team Sophie on the show.
She's not the problem.
No.
Especially if she didn't even know about the divorce.
I know. And
I'll bet you he shows up with a new girlfriend in less than 30 days.
It's not looking great for Joe, because he's like, obviously... His team is trying to make her seem like a bad mother, and that like she parties and like, oh, look who she's spotted with this new guy kissing on a beach in wherever, and like she's filming a TV show,
right? And
they don't give that context, and so like they're just trying to paint her to be this like terrible, irresponsible person, unfit mother, whatever, and it's just like, no, dude, that was just making you look bad.
That might have worked 5-10 years ago, but now we've got like TikTok, social media,
and
stuff.
We've got Twitter to being like, actually, that's not the case. That's not.
There's people out there that are like going to do the research and like figure out what's actually going on and tell the rest of us.
Right. So his PR team is not doing a great job. And even if we didn't have like this, all this like Twitter sleuthing or TikTok sleuthing, like I wouldn't believe it. Anyway,
I would still be Team Sophie. Yeah,
I would still be Team Sophie. Absolutely. I haven't even seen her act in anything. I've just seen her like in interviews and stuff.
She's not in anything you would have watched because she was in one of the.
No, but she seems like a delightful person, and he's always seemed like kind of a worm.
I think she was in one of the X-Men movies too. I don't know what else she's done.
I actually don't know.
You really need to watch Game of Thrones.
I don't like shows with a lot of sexual assault, and I know that's like all Game of Thrones is.
It is not all. That's only like 1/10 of it.
That's still a lot.
You can just fast forward. None of that stuff is really. Well, there's like 1 or 2 things that are maybe germane to the plot, but not.
And I've said this before because I do love Outlander, and Outlander has a lot of sexual assault as well. I don't like it, and I skip over all of it.
I know, but some of that is consensual. Like Jamie and her.
But that's not.
They kind of like it rough.
That's not assault.
Okay.
I'm talking about actual assault.
Okay. But that was just the time, which is probably true.
Okay, but as I've said before, Game of Thrones is a fantasy land. It's not based.
And I've used that argument with a lot of people, especially when he keeps doing the incest thing. I'm like, this is fantasy. You could do anything you want.
I know.
Why does an uncle have to marry his niece?
Yeah, why are you focusing on incest, violence, and sexual assault as like your tropes in this fantasy world? I don't like it. I don't like it.
And you're making me rethink my love of Game of Thrones.
I mean, I know a lot of people still like it, and I'm not trying to like bash on anyone who likes that, but I'm just like, as showrunners, why is that like the cornerstone of your show? Like violence against women.
I don't think it's the cornerstone. It's not the cornerstone.
That's all I hear about the show.
Is dragons.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Because all I hear about is the violence.
Okay. You're hanging out with the wrong people.
Or maybe the right people.
Dragons. It's about dragons.
It's not about dragons. If I wanted a show about dragons, I would just watch Dragon Tales
and incest.
Again.
It is dragons and incest. Those are the two main things.
That doesn't sound good, Cindy. That doesn't sound like a good show. Dragon incest.
I mean, they're really attractive, brother and sister. Does that make a difference?
No, it doesn't make it better, Cindy. Yeah, and it was like the most popular show, like of the last decade.
I know. I watched it every single week. I waited impatiently.
What's the
plot? They're all trying to. So it all starts. Spoiler: the king dies.
What? Just kidding. I don't care.
And he had a throne made out of swords.
Oh yes,
that everybody wants to sit on.
I've seen
because
the sword.
The king is the king of the 7, like, lands.
Right. Westeros.
It used to be each land had their own little thing, and then the king of dragons 1,000,000 years ago united them, and the 7 kingdoms were born, and everybody wants to be.
Everyone wants to sit on the throne of swords.
King or queen of Westeros. Okay. And that's the main thing. And also, one of the good guys dies very early. Oh. He's murdered.
Well,
more or less.
The entire time I've seen people like love the show, and like when people try to get me to watch it, it's always don't get attached to any of the characters because they die. And I already know I love Richard Madden as an actor so much. And spoiler alert, I know he dies. I know he dies at the Red Wedding.
He
whatever
deserved
that
it,
is.
though. He totally deserved it.
I know he's a bad guy, but like
he's not a bad guy. He just made some bad choices.
Okay.
He was following his sexual desire and not thinking of the good of the kingdom.
Oh. And so he dies because of it?
Well, I forget. The guy who killed him was not a very good guy. He ends up dying too.
You know what? Maybe if I'm bored one day, I will watch it. But maybe not. I don't know. Because I have seen the first 3 seconds of it. I was
I just think from
in college when I was in my peak streaming days, I found a link to the first the first season or whatever. I clicked play. And then I got a notification on Facebook or Tumblr or whatever, and I paused and I never resumed. I never resumed because I got distracted.
I mean, I didn't want to watch it for the longest time, and I'm like, ugh. And then I found out that whoever plays Tyrion, the little person guy, Peter Dinklage.
Oh, Peter Dinklage.
I'm like, I really like him. I didn't know he was in there. And then I'd seen a clip where there's dragons. I'm like, no one told me there was dragons in this. Of course I'll watch it. So then I started watching it. I read the books. And then the rest is history.
All right.
I think, cinematically, it's very good for the eyes. The costumes are wonderful. The scenes are amazing. The scenery and stuff, and the way they dressed everything and the way they shot it. It was almost like a little mini movie every episode, which I think is neat. I mean, I sat through a lot of boring episodes of Mad Men because I really liked the costuming and the actors. And
I was really back when I was still dating, I was seeing this guy who loved Mad Men.
Okay,
and I watched because he loved it, and so I was trying to get myself to like it because I liked him and I wanted to talk about it with him, and I never finished it.
I think as a woman, it's okay to like Mad Men. I really liked it a lot, But
this guy,
if you're a guy and you really like it, that might say something else
This guy
about
also routinely ghosted me, and that just made me want him more, you know? But
yeah,
I was young. I was 22, 23 years old.
I was old and the same thing, too.
I learned
why I don't date anymore.
I learned from my mistakes.
I just stopped dating. Cold turkey.
I don't allow ghosting anymore. I will ghost you first.
I am a ghost.
Yes. I'm already a ghost.
I'm already gone.
Yes. That's why I'm not on the apps anymore. I'm already gone.
Although I got bored last weekend and I almost downloaded Tinder again. But
well, I don't even have the option to do that
then I took a nap.
I am famously banned.
I took a nap instead.
You know, whenever I get the urge to re-download an app again, that's when I just like watch a rom-com or something and I'm like, none of these men are like this.
Oh, I should do that just to be like, ugh. Yeah, that's what I'm missing. Gross.
Well, to me, it's just like, nah, no guy is like that.
Yeah, because it's not real.
I know, exactly.
I just get mad. I get so mad about those.
I know you hate it. I love it. I mean, I most of the books I'm reading now too are also rom-coms, which is, for the longest time, I would like rewatch like rom-com movies, and it's an entire genre of like book, and I like rediscovered that when I started reading again this year, and so now I just read those, and it's like an endless supply of rom-coms, and I don't even have to rewatch movies. It's perfect.
That seems like hell to me.
I know it does too.
There's got to be some kind of romance I could be interested in, but I mean, I like that Korean romance show that I saw.
I mean, you liked the fantasy aspect of Game of Thrones. Maybe you would like A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is a series that I see all the time on Book Talk. I have not yet read any of those, but people tend to love it. So you might like that. I don't know. What?
Well, Game of Thrones wasn't very romantic, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
the same.
Well, you asked, you're like, oh, there must be some kind of subgenre of romance I would like, and I was telling you about like fantasy romance because you liked the fantasy aspect of Game of Thrones.
Yes,
that was the connection. That was the only connection I was making.
Okay. Yeah, still not interested. Romance in the fantasy medieval times, nah.
No, not medieval, just like a fantasy land with like fairies and whatnot.
I mean, when I was reading a lot, I read all of those. Like Charlene Harris. She does one about fairies.
I mean,
or about the Fae, which is like...
I mean, there are fairies in her books.
She does a whole nother series.
She does?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then I, of course,
read...
Were
they good?
It was the same kind of feel as...
Was it as good as the Sookie Stackhouse books? Because I
actually like the fairy ones better, just because there's way more sex in it. But see, I think she did.
There was plenty of sex in the True Blood books.
Yeah, and I liked that. Yes, I like. I mean, I like the sex part of it. I just didn't like the. Actually, I like
the actual story.
I mean, I like the romance of like a human and a vampire because there's that like aspect of. I mean, we know it's fake. I mean, it's a fantasy.
You were just complaining about the Twilight.
That's not a real vampire.
Wow. Yes, he is.
There's always been that argument, right? Of what kind of vampire do you know? The Twilight vampires or like the Nita Blake type vampire?
Obviously, I knew about the concept of vampires before Twilight, but those were definitely the kind of vampires I was first like exposed to, just like reading and watching. But also around the same time, the Vampire Diaries vampires, and they're more like the traditional type of vampires.
Right.
Although these vampires had witches that like enchanted rings for them to wear, daylight rings that they could wear. And so they could still go to school.
Yeah. That's been in other like
right.
genres.
It's a really good cop-out.
I mean, it works.
Why is this vampire out in the day going to high school with this human girl? Oh, I have a ring.
But in the books that I read, that ring would be like there would be several vampire factions like killing each other for that ring.
Oh,
that's the kind of vampire
so
stuff
like
that I watch.
Vampire Lord of the Rings,
basically, yeah. Only not boring.
Yeah. Have I expressed this opinion before on the show? But I thought I've only seen the first movie of the Lord of the Rings series, and I thought it was boring. I watched it as a child, thought it was boring, and then I gave it another chance as an adult, and I still thought it was boring.
I agree. I actually tried reading the book.
Oh.
And I just don't like it was either the hobbits or the trolls or whatever. Like, they basically imprisoned dragons to keep their stuff, to steal their stuff. And I didn't like that.
I don't like that.
I think that's definitely... not to be sexist, but it's definitely a dude thing to like.
Not always, but yeah, it's all of the diehard fans of Lord of the Rings I know are dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I know there are some women that really love it, but I just generally.
Yeah, I think generally you're right.
It's just a lot, and like the movies themselves are like really quiet. Like you can't.
I mean,
like the music is really loud, but the talking is really, and it's like the whole time you're like you have to like pay attention to this.
The first one is beautiful. Like, just as a movie, they shot it in New Zealand, so it's beautiful. But in plot,
they're just walking.
Boring.
They're constantly just walking.
Well, I mean, they're walking to what is it, Mordor or whatever. Like, they're trying to find this ring. Gandalf. I don't know. They're trying to find something.
A ring.
Yeah.
It's magical or something.
It does something.
Oh, if you put it on, you go invisible, I think is what it was.
Oh.
Was that it?
I don't know.
We should do a whole show.
Elvis says the movies are just walking in a forest.
Basically. We should do a whole show where we talk about like the 5 minutes of every movie that we've seen.
Well, no, I've seen the full movie.
So I've sat through most of them, but I think I slept through a lot of it.
I didn't sleep through it. I was just bored.
I did see The Hobbit, though. Like the prequel to...
Yeah.
I don't really remember it, except for that one guy was in it.
I know Ed Sheeran did a song for it that I really like called Icy Fire.
Ed Sheeran was in Game of Thrones.
I know, he made a cameo that everyone hated.
I didn't hate it.
Everyone,
it was fine.
But like
he did just fine.
Like on Twitter, everyone was like, "I'm glad he died."
I think he sang in it too.
Really?
Like I think he sings a little song around the fire thing.
People hate on Ed Sheeran too much. He's a really good musician, and he if you go to a show of his, I haven't been to a show, but I've read about it and I've seen clips. Like, it's just him in like a loop. He doesn't have a band. It's just him and a guitar. He's so talented, and people just hate on him because he writes love songs. And it's not cool or manly to write love songs. And that's the only reason. That's the only reason.
And he's a redhead. If you don't like
I know. But I'm just like, you guys.
I like redheads, so.
Do not sleep on Ed Sheeran. To be fair, he also, for the singles, he likes to put out stuff that doesn't sound like the rest of the album. So, Shape of You doesn't sound like anything else on Divide, and, Sing doesn't really sound like anything else on Multiply. And so I understand that. If you only know Ed Sheeran from his, singles, you would think, he was just a pop artist. But he's actually much more of a singer-songwriter.
And actor. Don't forget actor.
Anyway, Ed Sheeran has a new album out on September 29th.
Fun.
That's next Friday. I'm really excited for it.
Me too.
Are you?
No. Now that I know about it.
Yeah, stream it.
Dance party.
Dan.
Wait, is it coming out at like midnight or is it coming out at like 4 in the afternoon?
Well, it comes out at 11 p.m. our time on Thursday night because it drops midnight Eastern. Oh. Most albums do. That's still too late for me. So
you'll be listening to it the next morning.
Even when Taylor drops like new songs, I don't listen to them until the day after because I'm already in bed, and if I listen to a new song, I'm just gonna get excited and not be able to sleep. I really do prioritize my sleep over everything else.
I think you should.
I agree. Anyway, so it is now 9 p.m. and
it's bedtime,
and we are going to
say goodbye.
Say goodbye now. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
From the Hertine and Stocker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, making memories.